Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann. I am a professional network marketer and actor, and I'm also an EFT practitioner. And today I'm joined by Amina Farzee, who is a business alignment coach. Hi, Amina.
Hi, good afternoon, Julie. How are you?
It's good afternoon in South Africa, isn't it? It's good morning or lunchtime.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we start talking about your metaphysical work, tell us about what life was like for you as a young girl.
Very ordinary. Actually, I had a very good childhood. I had three brothers, and I was raised in a very grounded household, very close-knit family. My mom's a teacher, my dad was a woodworker, so my mom's very education-oriented, so I'm always there in terms of needing advice on school-related things. And as a teenager, my mom was there when I needed love advice. So I come from even an extended family, very close, so very grounded and very good childhood, and I'm grateful for that. Yes.
And you grew up in
Nothing too out there. I mean, I was, I wasn't so hardworking. I pretended to be hardworking at school, but nothing, as I said, nothing out there. Very, very grounded in every aspect of my childhood. Yes.
And you grew up where, Amina?
In Cape Town. I've grown up in Cape Town all my life, so my schooling was all in Cape Town. Yeah.
Fantastic. So I know that your background is in IT. In fact, you spent 15 years working in that industry. So what was it that you enjoyed about working in the IT industry?
Everything. I'm a problem solver by nature, so IT, tapped into my problem solving abilities. I loved working with the people. I'm technical, so it was using problem solving and technical aspects of me and putting into a work that was basically doing my hobby for 15 years. Never ever felt as if it was work. It really was inspiring for me to go to work every day. I loved the people. I loved the company. I loved everything about being in IT. It really was, as I said, a hobby until that phase of my life ended and I needed to transition into a different phase. So it was really a really good environment for me to work in, tapped into many aspects of, I think my brain is structured in a way where it made IT extremely good for me and extremely healing on many levels because I was really working in an environment that was encouraging for me.
So why was it that you actually decided to change careers, Amina?
I started getting ill at work. That was in about 2012. I was getting a lot of vertigo. I started getting vertigo, and I think I needed a change of environment in that I wanted to move into a different aspect of IT. It was more networking, but there wasn't an opportunity for me to get there. And I felt like I needed to work on the body as well. I really felt this pull to work on the human body. And then I left my permanent job in 2013 and I studied kinesiology for 3 years thereafter. So it was really working technically on a different body. So that's how I look at it. So using my problem solving skills on a different body.
Did you feel any hesitation about switching careers? Because that's quite a move, isn't it?
It is. No, not at all. I love the move. I needed to shift. I think there comes a time sometimes in a person's life where they just feel a dire need to move. That was me. I mentioned to people even before I left IT, I needed to leave. And when the opportunity arose for me to leave my permanent job, I did. So they offered packages, and I said that opportunity arose for me just to transition and leave. And it was a very, very good move for me. I missed my colleagues. I didn't miss the work as much anymore. I think the 15 years of IT was what I needed for me.
Yeah. Were you met with any
grounding to do the
Carry on.
No, it gave me a good grounding to do the kind of work that I'm doing now because it was in-depth problem solving that I use in my work now. It was a very good grounding for me.
Were you met with any opposition, having been in that industry for so long? Were you met with any opposition from your colleagues or your family or your friends?
Yes. Yes, I think my mom in particular, my manager as well. My manager spoke to me a few times before I left. He spoke to me about 3 or 4 times, and he said, "Are you sure you want to leave?" I said to him, "I have to go." I know with my mom, it was there was little resistance because I'm leaving a permanent job, going into an ocean of ebbing and flowing, not knowing where I was going. But I said to my mom, I just knew this is what I needed to do. I will find my my pathway to find the shore, wherever the shore was. I was just going with the flow of the ocean. So yeah, so it led me to where I'm working now. So yeah.
Fantastic. You've got a testimonial on your website which says, "You do in one session what a psychologist can't do in a year. It's a gift from God, and you are highly prized and cherished." Now, there are going to be some people watching who don't have any belief in God whatsoever. Does that make any difference?
Um, well, my work is very, as I said, metaphysical. And about 4 years back, I was taken, I think I was yanked, not just taken, I was yanked out of the practical, pragmatic world into something that was incredibly metaphysical. In other words, I got shown things that most people would never see. It was a shock to my system initially because I was wondering, what's going on? And then during that time, I learned many things beyond what people call the veil. So I got to experience things in terms of healing and just in terms of knowledge behind or beyond what most people would ordinarily experience or know from books. So books teach you a certain amount of information. So it is what I was able to tap into beyond what the books were able to teach you. So in terms of that testimonial, um, the person that wrote that testimonial was seeking assistance for a child for many, many years, I think 10 years, and in and out of psychologists and psychiatrists. And when someone comes and sees me, especially from a mental perspective, I was able to tap in exactly what was causing the anxiety within the person and also where in the body the anxiety was stemming from. And I found a way to work that out of the soul. So I work with cellular healing. I work really from a cellular perspective. So what is it that causes the stress within the soul? And sometimes it goes beyond a physical level. Sometimes it goes into the energy level surrounding the body. So it could be the psyche, it could be the spirit, the energy level. And that is what I was able to tap into. What part of the body was ailing? What part needed healing? Was it the spiritual part, the energetical part, the physical part? And yeah, and then after one session, literally, um, she healed. The client healed instantly because I was able to assist the subconscious to release what she was holding on to. So yes, it happens that 1 or 2 sessions I'm able to assist someone to heal significantly after having years of ailing. Um, and as someone said, it's a gift from God. And for those who don't believe in God, there are those who believe in the universe, and everything has energy. So whether that is God-based or not God-based, that is a fact. It's a proven scientific fact that every living thing has energy. Even stones have energy. There is an energy field that surrounds all little bodies. So we need to work with that energy field to assess the person and find out where is the issue. Is it lying within the energy field? Is it lying within the physical body? And just releasing that and healing it. It goes beyond God. Once it goes beyond God, goes beyond, it really is science. It is science, and science has proven that energy surrounds everything.
Brilliant. So you mentioned earlier on the word veil. What do you mean by that?
Yes. Well, I belong to a number of spiritual Facebook groups or Facebook groups where people are trying to find out why am I able to sense a presence. So sometimes when people are able to feel a presence, they feel the presence, but they can't see anything. That means that a veil has been lowered between them and things that we can't see with the naked eye. And there are those who can actually see entities beyond what most people can see. That means that they have more veils that have been lowered between themselves and the unseen world. So there are many veils placed between a human being and the unseen world, many, many thousands of veils. So that is really what a veil is. So when it really is very rare when all the veils have been lowered between themselves and what lies beyond the veils. Very rare. So some people have more access than others, and some people have limited access. That is why you may find some people who are more intuitive than others. It depends on how many veils have been lowered between themselves and the unseen world.
So what is it you actually do, Amina, on a practical level? What are you actually doing, to facilitate such dramatic results for people?
I work with information that has been gifted to me from beyond the veil. So for example, I think 2 weeks back, I saw a client who was allergic to certain additives in drinks. And as he spoke to me, I literally saw the chemical formula of the additive that was added to the drinks. I literally saw the formula in front of me. And I said to him, it seems as if and in front of me it popped up C3OH4. I didn't know what C3OH4 was. I had to Google what C3OH4 was, and it came up as acronym. And it is a food additive. So those are not the abilities that I had 4 years back. So I know between 4 years back and now, there has been a massive transition in terms of what I can see and what I couldn't see 4 years back. I was able to see into heaven at one point, and another time I literally could take someone's heart because they had a faulty valve. I could literally take their heart out of the system, massage their heart, and put it back in, and the valve healed. So those are things I wasn't able to do even 2 years back. And even when I come close to someone and they may have an ailment, the ailment actually pops up in front of me, and I literally see the name of the illness that they're suffering from. In literally, as I say, in so many words in front of me. So, and again, that's not something I experienced 4 years back.
So do you ever amaze yourself, Amina, and wonder whether you just trust the information that comes to you, and then in hindsight kind of are surprised that that's even possible? Or are you always you have total faith that whatever you receive is the truth, and that is the answer for that person that you're serving?
Yes, because most of the time, even before I mention to the clients, they tell me, this is what I've been diagnosed with, or this is what I'm suffering from. And then I've already seen what it is that they're suffering from. And most of the time, it really is before the clients tell me anything at all. So it really then serves as a confirmation to me that the information that I'm receiving is spot on. So yeah, it really is comforting for me in that way. In that most of the information that is received from me gets verified by the client before I mention anything to them.
Do you ever wish you didn't know quite so much?
Yes, actually, I said to God, actually, I posted a video on YouTube a few months back. I think it was in April. And I said to God, I said, there has to be a time when enough is enough. Don't you know when? And I said, there's so much information, and when is over enough, you know? I said to someone, I can look at a car and literally tell them what component in the car can be improved upon by adding certain substances or certain elements to it, and the amount that gets added to it to maybe stabilize the car a little bit more, make the metal a bit stronger. And I don't come from a mechanical background. So that information is sort of saying just there. People need to know that and share that with them. So yes, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's watching and they're like, that is ridiculous that you could know that, what would you say to anyone who may be a little skeptical watching?
I would completely understand. I would completely understand skepticism. But I come from an IT background, so my background is very grounded and pragmatic and very analytical. So I come from a very logical perspective. So people who come from a thinking perspective, I completely understand because I too would question, as most of my friends, I mean, are professors and very highly academic. So we've sat and had these discussions previously, and they too have inquired. So it is really about me coming from a scientific background more than a spiritual background. It is really scientific. So scientifically, this is really proven in this way. And um, in terms of information coming from a metaphysical perspective, um, there is proof, but that's something I'll have to speak to the person about on a one-to-one basis. Um, that when it's like energy, when you walk into a house and you feel uncomfortable, sometimes you're around certain people and you just have an uneasy feeling about things or people. That's really not something you can physically see, you can feel. And that is how it works with me. It's something that I sense, and that information is given to me. In a, if you can compare, it's sort of in that manner. You can't see it, but you can feel it. And I can see certain things that most people can't.
What kinds of people come to see you, and what is it that they're seeking?
Um, I see people from all backgrounds, all races. I don't like to use all races, and all educational, backgrounds as well. As I said, I've got professors that are and medical doctors that are my clients as well. So it really is people who are seeking advice on um, when they've been through therapies, or they've been to medical doctors, or they've been to psychiatrists, or they're experiencing spiritual things. I sense something, a presence in my home, or I feel uncomfortable. Last week I was fine. This week I'm not. I'm stuck in my life. I don't know how to progress further. My hair's falling out. My skin is losing its color. There are things happening in my family that I don't understand. Why is it that I'm feeling weaker than I did? You know, why is my cancer resurfacing? It's really across the board.
What is the biggest obstacle you've ever had to face in your life, Amina?
Um, I think I won't call it an obstacle. I think I've never encountered anything that in my life is an obstacle. It's more like a learning experience. And I think what I'm going through at the moment, and what I've been through over these past almost 4 years, has probably been the most challenging time in my life. Because this has taken me out of what we would ordinarily know as normal, and having to learn something that most people would never understand, and trying to make sense of or unlearn what I've learned and make sense of things on a completely different level. Extremely challenging. Um, it really has made me tap into aspects of um, science, even beyond what humans would ordinarily know science to be, and try and understand that, and on a logical level, and I realize that sometimes logic doesn't always play a part in the kind of work that I do. So it really is, it has been very challenging for me over the past almost 4 years to try and make that transition from what we perceive as normal to my new normal, or my new other aspect of life. Um, yeah, that has been, I mean, as I said, I could see into heaven. I could see people who've passed on. Someone asked me about a deceased relative, and I knew this person was murdered. I could literally see his murder and who murdered him and where he was buried. Um, So it really goes fairly in depth into what I'm able to see and know. It's varied.
Is it tricky then to kind of fit into the normal, when you're not working in a capacity, um, to help others in your normal everyday life around normal people that aren't having
Yes.
those experiences? Is that a difficult thing?
Um, Sometimes, because sometimes I would just sit and say, "Hi, how you doing?" And then I'll realize there's something you need to know. You're lying. Um, I'm able to sit with people and realize you don't really want to be here. You're pretending that you like me. I just have an understanding now of what people really think or feel, and it's difficult for me to cut that off because that is really, I don't have a protective mechanism, or if it's me protecting them, it's almost as if I'm pulling people closer to protect them, moving people out because maybe they don't want to be around me. So when people tell stories, or I'm able to figure out, okay, that may not be the truth. Um, it's really now about me just having this knowingness about things.
Mm.
And if I had friends tell me, I don't have to tell you that. You already know what I'm going to tell you, but I'll tell you anyway. So, and that's been interesting. Yes.
Yes. Just sometimes people think, oh, she just knows it all. She's a bit of a know-it-all.
Yeah, even my family, certain of my family members, one of my family members messaged me yesterday and asked me, "Do you think I have COVID?" So I said, "I think you have to, have yourself checked." So she said, "But can't you just tell me?" So I said, "No, just please go and have yourself checked." So that's something I don't do. If someone asks me, "Do I have cancer?" I will always tell them, "Have yourself checked." I will never give a diagnosis. If I feel that someone has a something, I will suggest to them, can you go to the pharmacy and have yourself checked for diabetes or cholesterol, or you have your blood pressure checked, then come back to me and we will discuss further. That is always something that I would do if I feel that there is a predisposition or an onset of, or there may be in the system. I always have them check, have an MRI to make sure that there aren't certain, whatever is going on in the body. I will always do that first. I won't say, well, actually, you have cancer. I will never do that. I will never do that. So they will have to come to me. I will usually say something like, you may have depleted cells in your body that may be affected and we'll need to heal them. I will never say that there may be cancerous cells in the body. I will
Mm.
always come from a positive aspect in that there are cells that have deteriorated and we need to heal them.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to someone watching who maybe feels that they're personally out of alignment, or maybe that their business is out of alignment?
They can contact me either by email or on my website, and the details I'll give to you at the end of our session. And they can send me an inquiry or just pop me a question, and find out if it's something that would be a good fit for them. In terms of business, what I'm able to do is sometimes people tell me, I'm in my business and I have no idea how to move forward. I'm stuck. I don't know which road to take, avenue. Sometimes personal issues may present themselves in the business of someone. So it is about addressing the personal issues first because they don't know about the blockages that the personal issues may present for them. As they call limiting mindset. So you could have factors in your personal life that has affected your mindset. Sometimes it is about moving everything out of the way for you to have clarity within your business and realize, I didn't think of that. I didn't think I could have asked that or done this or done that. It is really about giving clarity within many aspects of their business. It's aligning the CEO or the manager, whomever it is, with the aspect of the work that they're doing within the company. For example, if someone is more managerial inclined and technical inclined and they're working in a technical position, moving people around may work wonders for the company. So it is also about, making sure that the people have the right work to do, else you're limiting them in the mental ability and the spiritual ability as well.
Why do you do what you do, Amina?
I think this is something that, as I said to someone, I don't think this was a choice. I think this was something that God said, you got to do this for me now, and this is what you have to do. As I said, I got yanked out of my normalcy and placed into this position, and just learned so much on a metaphysical. That is why I call myself a metaphysical therapist, because there's so much about metaphysics that I now understand that I would never have understood years back. So many people ask questions that others aren't able to answer from a metaphysical perspective. So yes, so that's the work that I do. I'm able to see beyond what science, man-made science, is sometimes able to show. Not always. I've read just recently research done in terms of frequencies, and I realized, people are getting to understand certain things that I've been informed about a few months back. So, so I'm working with vibrational frequencies, making people realize what frequencies really do, what it is about, how healing they are in terms of many aspects of living life. Because we all vibrate at a certain frequency. A healthy body vibrates at a frequency of between 62 and 72 hertz. So what can we do to maintain that frequency to live a healthy and balanced life? And that's also what I've learned in this time. So that's the work that I'm now doing, is assisting people to have more clarity on what works for them and what doesn't work for them.
Great. So I will be pasting all your links below this video so that people can click on them and find out more about you. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we finish?
I think for many people, for those who may be watching, I know there are many skeptics. I've been there. I've encountered people that have been skeptical. You are most welcome to chat to me for 5-10 minutes just to get an idea about what is the work that I do. You know, it's really about, I love chatting to people who don't understand the work that I do but need more information. I have no problem. You're most welcome to do a free call. And there are those that may need assistance on many levels. They are most welcome to chat to me. It is really about understanding what we don't understand, or getting to know about what we don't understand or what we've not been taught anyway.
Amina Farzee, I could talk to you for hours. Thank you so much for an absolutely extraordinary conversation.
You're most welcome. It was lovely. Thank you so much, Julie.